Welcome to our daily news program, coming to you here on Canal Algérie. To the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives directors and officials of some national media outlets and listens to the professional and social concerns of the media family, highlighting the role of the press in defending the national interest. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, receives the General Secretary of the General Union of Algerian Workers, Ammar Takchout. And on the eve of the joint Algerian-Tunisian Commission for Cooperation, further developing the cooperation relations and consolidate commercial exchange is highlighted in the Algerian-Tunisian Economic Forum. The Army General Said Shingriha reiterates Algeria's conviction in the necessity of promoting international peace and security via the ban of weapons of mass destruction while supervising the opening ceremony of the VIP Day for the Africa Chemical Exercise while addressing the state parties in the Convention for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons in Africa. The Garaj Bilat Bashar Railroad is divided into 4 sections to accelerate the completion pace, a strategic line that opens promising economic prospects in the region. And expanding the port of Arzew in Oran to increase its capacity to receive large ships and containers and facilitate trade exchange will be tackled in today's bulletin. Good evening and welcome back. First of all, the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, received on Tuesday directors and officials of some national media outlets and listened to the professional and social concerns of the media family, noting the prominent role played by the press in defending the national interest. This meeting was an opportunity through which the President of the Republic inquired about the proposals made by the sector's professionals to improve its performance. The meeting also focused on the different national issues relating directly to the concerns of the citizens, while tackling as well the regional and international issues. The President of the Republic received on Tuesday the General Secretary of the General Union of Algerian Workers, Ammar Takchout. The audience took place in the presence of the Principal Private Secretary of the Presidency, Mohamed Nadir Al-Arbawi. Let us now have a listen to the statement made by Ammar Takchout on the occasion.
My meeting with the President of the Republic revolved around topics related to labours in general. Our wide discussion was fruitful since we discussed the situation of economic enterprises as well as the civil service. I had requested an audience beforehand and also discussed with him the social situation and the purchasing power, the organisation of trade unions and all that has to do with the Algerian society in general and people's concerns. The President of the Republic is aware of the country's socio-economic situation, which is a positive thing for us as workers. For our part, we're ready to make every effort to add value to our country's economic and social activity.
In other news, and under the high patronage of the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, the VIP Day of CHEMEX Africa exercise was organized on Tuesday at the Exhibition Palace in cooperation with the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons. Further details with Rani Al-Bahri.
The opening ceremony of this event was supervised by the Army General Chief of Staff of the National People's Army, Said Shingriha, in the presence of the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman, the Ambassador Fernando Ariad Fonzales, Director General of the Organization of Chemical Weapons, and the Ambassador Odette Milono, Deputy Director General of the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons Organization, as well as ministers and heads of diplomatic missions accredited in Algeria for the countries participating in this demonstration, and high-level representatives of African bodies. On this occasion, The Army General Said Shangriha gave his first speech to the attendees, at the beginning of which he welcomed all the participants, expressing his sincere thanks to the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons for the trust it has placed in our country to organize this regional event, stressing that Algeria is convinced of the necessity of strengthening international security and peace through the prohibition of mass destruction weapons, including the chemical ones, as it is a definite threat to humans and the future of humanity.
تتشرف الجزائر باحتضان هذه التظاهرة المتميزة.
He further added that Algeria is honored to host this event and highly appreciates the joint initiative between our national body and the Technical Secretariat of the organization to strengthen and develop the technical capabilities in the field of prevention of chemical weapons of the state parties to the Chemical Weapons Convention for the African region. The General of the Army confirmed that the activation of the Chemical Weapons Convention in Africa confirms the commitments of its countries meant to not possess or develop such weapons.
تظل هذه الاتفاقية الوسيلة غير التمييزية الوحيدة التي تم.
He further highlighted that this agreement remains the only non-discriminatory means negotiated at the multilateral level, which can be implemented to destroy existing stockpiles of chemical weapons and prevent their development and the production of new types that may further exacerbate this problem and its danger to humanity.
هذه الإشكالية وخطورتها على البشرية.
The General of the Army expressed his hope that the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons would pay special attention to the organization's African program, while seeking to sustain it and taking into account the regional reality and the specific needs of the African continent. By strengthening the cross-border control movement of dual-use chemicals and the improvement of the control on these chemicals, which will allow activists to address security challenges that involve the potential misuse of chemical by terrorist groups.
على احتمال إساءة استخدام المواد الكيميائية من طرف الجماعات الإرهابية.
For his part, the Director General of the Organization of the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, Fernando Arias Gonzalez, appreciated the material and human capabilities that Algeria had harnessed to make this international event a success, in which residents and international observers of different nationalities participated. He also praised the professionalism recorded by all participants in Chemex Africa, stressing Algeria's leadership in the field of diplomacy and multilateral partnership. He also expressed their special thanks to Algeria for hosting this event and the success achieved by this exercise. It's worth noting that the VIP Day program included the implementation of an exercise that stimulated the chemical terrorist attack by participating trainees from African countries, including Algeria.
إسعاف الإنقاذ كما نشاهده الآن، التكفل بالضحايا، إبعادهم عن مكان الخطر والتقليل من حالة الفزع والخوف الموالية من أجل الملابس والانتظار حتى ظهور إشارة السماح للقيام بعملية التطهير آليا عبر المراحل الثلاث بالماء ثم
followed by the inauguration of an exhibition dedicated to professionals in the chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear and explosive fields, as well as companies and specialized bodies concerned with the agreement. On the same occasion, a special post stamp was issued for the Chemistry of Africa exercise in the presence of the Minister of Post and Telecommunications.
In other news, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman held a meeting on Tuesday with his Tunisian counterpart Ahmed Al-Hashani, now on a visit to Algeria as the head of an important ministerial delegation. The two premiers will co-chair today the proceedings of the 22nd Algerian-Tunisian Commission for Cooperation, an opportunity to further deepen the consultations and coordination in all sectors, as well as to consolidate strategic cooperation between the two countries and explore new means to support the economic and commercial relations. At the International Conferences Center here in Algiers, Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdurrahman co-chaired with the Tunisian head of government Ahmed Al-Hashani the opening of the Algerian-Tunisian Economic Forum. This forum will focus on economic partnership opportunities between the two countries and the ways and means to further develop the bilateral relations in the different fields of endeavor. It is worth recalling that this two-day forum is being held on the sidelines of the 22nd Algerian-Tunisian Commission for Cooperation due to be held today.
This is an important event which is well prepared for under the aegis of the leadership of the two countries' presidents, the President of the Republic, Mr. Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his brother, President Qais Said, in order to add new impetus to the partnership and cooperation dynamics that would meet the potential and capabilities of both countries. This forum coincides with unprecedented tremendous development concerning economic reforms, fundamental amendments to the legal system related to the business climate in Algeria.
For his part, the head of the Tunisian government stressed the importance of holding of these economic events for the consolidation of cooperation between the two countries, affirming that this forum offers an ideal climate for businessmen of both countries to meet up and reflect the great importance granted by the two countries as leaders for the creation of efficient partnerships by seizing the opportunities presented by the two countries. Let's have a listen.
The international changes have shown that we have no choice but to unify and strengthen our joint efforts to achieve the desired economic integration, as it is an urgent necessity for the implementation of effective strategic partnership. We also look forward to the technical meeting of the Tunisian-Algerian Working Group to study the establishment of a free trade zone between Algerian and Tunisian borders.
The day, the Prime Minister of Tunisia, Ahmed Hashani, went to the Martyrs' Sanctuary, where he observed a minute of silence and read the Fatiha, or the opening chapter of the Holy Quran, in the memory of our valiant martyrs, and laid a wreath of flowers in front of the commemorative stele. On the sidelines of the forum, bilateral meetings were held between the government's executives and their Tunisian counterparts in order to strengthen cooperation in the different sectors. Story by Sabrine Tefergenit.
To reinforce the already existing cooperation between Algeria and Tunisia was the major point tackled in this forum, where dialogue and coordination means were put forward between the different parties of the different sectors. The Foreign Affairs and National Community Abroad Minister Ahmed Attaf met with his Tunisian counterpart to discuss the current major regional and international issues. The Interior Minister, Local Authorities and National Plan Ibrahim Rouad shed the light with his Tunisian counterpart about ways and means to develop and strengthen the bilateral cooperation and enhance expertise exchanges. The Finance Minister, on the other hand, held a bilateral meeting with his Tunisian counterpart as well to expand and improve cooperation in his sector. The transport sector had also its part of bilateral meetings as the concerned minister met with his Tunisian counterpart. Concerning tourism, the ministers focused on revival mechanisms that should be adopted in this vital sector. The Minister of Labour, Employment and Social Security, as well as the Minister of Knowledge Economy, Startups and Micro-Enterprises, took part in these bilateral meetings with their Tunisian counterparts.
In a different story, the Garage Bilat mine in Tindouf province is now on its second phase of exploitation, only one phase away from achieving an annual production of 50 million tons. Sabrine Tefergenit with the details.
These machines are operating 24 hours a day in the world's largest iron mine, Garage Bilat. Geological and mining research have indicated reserves of up to 1.5 billion tons.
The studies were carried out on an area of 15,000 hectares and a sample of 5,000 hectares. In-depth studies revealed a capacity of 1.5 billion tons. After blasting, we proceed directly to the extraction of the iron ore, which we then crush before moving on to storage.
The long-term goal is to achieve an annual extraction capacity of 50 million tons of iron ore. The Garaj Bilat Bashar Railroad project is currently under construction in 4 sections, and it is considered as a strategic line, which will create a major dynamic development that would benefit the region and make a major contribution to promoting the national economy. Other strategic projects are on the way. The construction of 2 boarding crossing points between Algeria and Mauritania and the road linking Tindouf to Zwirat. These are also making considerable progress. Once completed, the project will boost the volume of trade between the 2 countries.
Concerning the border crossing point between Algeria and Mauritania, the project is 99.2% achieved on the Algerian side and 97.8% on the Mauritanian side. The completion of this project will make a lot of things easier, especially for economic operators. It will reduce travel time, which is currently 6 days.
The fast exit road and the aircraft hangar named after the commander Faraj in Tindouf province have been commissioned. The aim of this operation is to increase aircraft capacity and facilitate their movement around the hangar.
And another project that will boost the national economy is the expansion of the most important port in Western Algeria, the Arzew port, so as to receive larger ships and containers and facilitate the trade exchange. More insights with Yassine Hamdi.
The expansion project of the Arzew port is based on the realization of a new commercial dock named Mall 5 in a 52 hectares area. This mega project is a key part in the new directions of the national economy focused on the diversification of the non-hydrocarbon exportations. This will increase the containers processing capacity. There are 4 docks over 2 kilometers length. The first dock is for loading merchandise. The second one is for loading containers. The third one is for the exportation of raw materials. And the fourth dock is for the naval maintenance. The realization will take 30 months. This strategic project will cost more than 40 billion dinars and will be exploited in several activities in the future. This large port will boost the import-export operations by improving the quality of the services and encourage significantly the non-hydrocarbon exportation. This important project will offer the exportators a wide loading and unloading area and will facilitate the loading process even for large tonnage ships by using new technologies. This 52 hectares port will allow the treatment of more than 40 million tons of merchandise. Once this project finished, 3 million of tons of different steel products and 450,000 tons of plastic products are expected for yearly exportation from this port.
In a different context and as part of the fight against crime, the Iran police authorities were able to deal with 3 separate cases in the specialized sector, which resulted in the seizure of 2.4 kilograms of cocaine and more than 130,000 psychotropic pills and a considerable amount of ecstasy, as well as the arrest of 8 individuals. And with this message of the Presidency's General Direction of Communication following the death of the French journalist Jean-Pierre Elkabbach, a friend of Algeria originally from Oran province. On this painful ordeal, the Presidency's General Direction of Communication presents its most sincere condolences to the family and friends of the late. In other news, the British non-governmental organization Sandblast expressed its unwavering support for the Sahrawi people, and that during the solidarity activities for the Sahrawi people organized in London with the participation of human rights activists and members of the Sahrawi community settled in the United Kingdom. On occasion as well for the representative of the Polisario Front at the UK, CD Brika, to put forward the human rights situation in the occupied Sahrawi territories. In Morocco, dozens of citizens took to the streets in Rabat to protest against the false promises of the Makhzen regime. These people, whose houses were destroyed in El Qanitra city and other cities, were given administrative documents that could not preserve their legal right to housing, finding themselves homeless as a result without any care of the Makhzen. And with that, we come to the end of our today's program. Thank you for joining us, and goodbye.